You're listening to Love Talk Live with the relationship expert, Jaime Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hello and welcome to Love Talk Live. I'm your host, Jaime Bronstein, and today I have with me Dane Stevens. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
So happy you're here, even though you're not actually here, you're in Canada. But it would be great if all this craziness wasn't going on and you could be here, which you will be in the future.
Maybe in the not too distant future. That's right. Love to be there. Love Los Angeles and used to live in Santa Monica and Marina Del Rey. So yeah, love it down there.
Yes, it's quite an amazing place. So let's talk about, Dane Stevens is quite amazing. He has written a book called Reclaim Your Power to Create Your Best Life. And he's done lots of other things. So I'm going to read to you guys a little bit about him, and then we're going to get into everything he does, why he does what he does, how he helps people, everything. So Dane Stevens is an author, speaker, and facilitator. He is the developer of the NeuroTrauma Healing process and the soul recognition process, healing modalities that were developed out of sheer necessity as he had his nervous system seriously compromised by a well-meaning therapist who tried to force a childhood trauma out of him. It left him in a state of constant anxiety and turned his life into complete shambles, leaving him homeless, afraid, and out of control. It took him 5 years to understand what had happened to him and another year to discover what would give him relief and give him his life back. The result of this 5-year search is the NeuroTrauma Healing process. Dane now lives very happily in the interior of British Columbia with his life partner, Anne. They now teach the NeuroTrauma Healing process to those in need of healing and those wanting to get trained in this profound new process. Dane feels incredibly lucky to have come through what he has and blessed to have discovered this process that brought deep peace, connection, and fulfillment in his life. He now feels a sense of duty to pass this valuable information on to others who need it. I have so many questions. let's just. Uh-oh, you froze a tiny bit. Okay.
Oh, no.
You're back.
For a second. We're okay now? We're good?
We're good. Okay, so you know what? This is up to you. Do you want to kind of tell your story first, or do you want to talk about neurotrauma healing?
Well, that's really, I'm pretty open. Whatever works for you. Do you have a preference or?
Well, maybe your story, because other people maybe can relate. Yeah. So let's just hear the story. Let's hear what brought you to making this life-changing therapy for people.
So, as you said, it was all out of sheer necessity that this process was developed. I was doing very well in my life. Had a coaching training business, doing great, making good money, had good employees, doing some traveling, living off the ocean, loving life. Everything was right where I wanted it to be, except for my relationships, which tended to be short-lived, and I would either end them or sabotage them in some way and seek intimacy elsewhere immediately. And this became a pattern to the point where I went, And what it brought up for me is I wondered if I dealt with a childhood abuse issue. And because I'd asked the question, I knew how to check into it. So I went to a few groups. It was actually a sexual abuse thing. It's not exactly uncommon. And I went to a few groups that didn't quite work for me, did a bunch of different therapies, and nothing seemed to really resonate with me. And then there was a therapist / healer who came highly recommended. So I went to see her, and I knew very little of trauma at that time, and not that much about energy, a little bit about energy. But she did diagnose me, as I'll say, and said I circled my lower chakras. And she asked if I wanted to go for a home run. And I didn't want to hit a home run. Little did she didn't, fail to tell me that you could hit a foul ball. And basically what she was meaning is try to force the trauma out. I didn't know, even what that meant kind of thing. So I said, sure. And I can still to this day remember the moment when it happened and I was on the table. And this is a number of sessions. I saw her for quite a period of a few months, I guess it was. And she had me, in some twisted position on the table telling me to go there. And I remember literally not even being able to tell which way was up. And I came off the table and I had this fearful feeling. I was like jittery platelets. And I just assumed it would go away, assumed it would pass. And it did not. it felt like I was plugged into a 220 volt outlet, and I was totally unstable and had this fearful energy in me. And as the inside creates the outside, my life literally started to fall apart around me. And within 18 months, I was broke. And within 3 years, I was homeless. And she quit seeing me when I ran out of money. But also, I think she was scared and didn't know what she did and didn't know what to do. And I was just out of control. And she knew it, kind of thing. So I went on a mad search to figure out what the hell happened to me and how to get my life back. And it took me 5 years to have somebody who understood what happened to me and could explain what happened to me. And then another year after that, when I discovered this process, which is not new, it just has never been developed. It's a left-right brain process, which I discovered through the John Bradshaw work. And through that, I made the connection to that wounded, scared part of me. And it was a big moment. It's like, oh my God, like I knew I had that connection. I could feel that connection. And I tried to make this part feel safe and make a connection and a relationship, and it just didn't work. It ended up being like an 8-month fight with myself. So there I went to try and find somebody else to help me with this, who did this work and would help me with it. And I couldn't find anybody. I tried to talk counselors into it. I looked up counselors and therapists on the internet and phoned everybody I could, and nobody would. Ironically enough, right across the street from me, there was somebody who had done this work and was willing to work with me. So I worked with her, and within 2 months, I gained what we call traction. And traction is having a consistently healthy and positive relationship with that inner life, that inner self. And that's where these processes literally just poured out of me. And it's almost like I can't take responsibility for them. It just seems like it's their time. And when you do this work, it's so obvious. It just shows us how we're working. So what it does is it gives you direct access to your subconscious mind in a safe and gentle manner. And I was a coach and a counselor for years, and I no longer coach or counselor or counsel. We are facilitators, and we facilitate this process where you get your answers, you get the connection, and therefore get your answers from within you. And we don't give any information. We just help you through the maze of the subconscious mind in a safe manner, because that's a priority for me. And it's just profoundly effective. And like I say, it's pretty obvious when you do this work. It shows you how you're working. So it's been called the next step in the evolution of our healing and spiritual development, because it will give you access to why you're getting what you're getting in your life, why you're not getting what you say you want, and therefore it has the ability to give you the keys to your life back.
And before we get into the logistics of what you do, one of the things I know you wanted to talk about was the spiritual component, and you've kind of touched upon it. So can you talk about that a little bit?
So when we do this healing work, I just wanted relief. I just wanted to get out of the fight or flight situation, wanted relief. So, but what happens when we heal? And just to give you a little bit of information about trauma is, you probably know this, but I'll just explain it for those that don't.
Yes.
It cycles in your nervous system from the left to the right brain, and you keep re-experiencing it in real time at that time. The brain's MO is survival. So it will push this barrage of unwanted information to the subconscious out of the way. But it is still very much alive, looping in your nervous system, unprocessed. So the inside creates the outside. So what's going on the inside of you is going to outpicture itself as a pattern as you keep experiencing this over and over again. So when you're able to unfreeze that tape and make this part of you, give that part of you what it didn't get at that time or what it's not getting now, safety, attention, love, whatever that is, it dissipates. And you can literally resolve that past trauma, that past negative experience, or that limiting belief. It simply resolves because you get to re-choose. When that happens, when that tape is no longer running inside of you, it creates space in you. And when that space is created, what comes through is what I will call higher consciousness. We'll call your authentic self. And that which comes through you is your nature. I'm going to take a bit of a quantum step here, but your nature is peaceful. It is powerful. It is creative. It is abundant. It is free. It is healthy. It is beautiful. That's our nature. And there's no effort there. And when we heal these parts of ourselves that are out of alignment with the truth about us, that's what naturally and automatically comes through. And that's what I experienced. And it was just mind-blowing, to say the least, because I didn't expect that. I just wanted relief. So it travels a lot further than I had any idea it would.
So one of the things, what?
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I love it. We're totally aligned and on the same page. One of the things that I always say to my clients is that life happens for us, not to us. So I'm wondering what you have to say about specifically maybe your life, but also in general, how this all relates spiritually, like that this happened for a reason, for you to learn and things like that. Because I know so many people out there struggling and kind of in that victim mode of why me?
Yeah. So to speak about trauma, when we say the word trauma, so many people think of a car accident or, experiencing war or being severely abused in a big physical or emotional way. But all trauma means is something stuck looping in your nervous system unprocessed. And that can occur from living with a high-functioning alcoholic, where maybe you didn't even know, growing up as a young child, you didn't know you're on the receiving end of abuse. But alcoholism itself is a way of self-abuse. So you're experiencing that and having to alter your natural behavior, your natural outflow of energy because of that. Another thing is neglect. Doesn't seem like abuse at all. It's like there's not doing anything. And that too allows you or makes you form a belief about yourself or change your behavior in some way because you're not getting seen or that attention or what have you. So it's not, once again, your natural outflow of energy. So when we do this work, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. And it's about when we are able to access that and unfreeze that, then we are able to be who we are. And these patterns maybe are on purpose. Maybe this, I don't want to use the word, maybe dysfunction, but the negative pattern, the unwanted behavior, maybe if we look at it as what is this instead of how do I get rid of this? That's where the answer is. Because all these negative patterns that are happening in our life, or not all, but all of them, yes, but the negative patterns in your life, maybe it's the universe trying to get your attention. Maybe it's the universe trying to take you inside. And when we understand that it's coming from inside of us, which takes me to the word responsibility. And sometimes that can seem like blame, like you're at fault. But that's not what we're talking about. When you say responsibility, it doesn't mean that you're the cause for being abused as a child, right, or you haven't, called this upon yourself. That's another conversation. But what we're saying about responsibility is when you have a pattern that keeps happening in your life, what's the common denominator? It's us. So what does that mean?
Own it.
Yeah, that means it's happening inside of us. So when you understand that it's happening and that you keep experiencing it, therefore, you know that it's happening inside of you. That's taking responsibility. And that's the start of reclaiming your power. Yeah.
And isn't it also, instead of resisting it, it's accepting it, yeah, so that you can look at it.
Yeah. So first, it's recognize the patterns that are going on. Second, I say thank you, because it's showing you what's going on inside of you. And then go inside. And that's what the NeuroTrauma Healing process does. It gives you access to, a lot of people want to heal, just haven't known how. And with this process, it gives you get to get intimate with what's going on inside of you. And therefore, you get to re-choose and give yourself what you haven't been getting or what you didn't get at that time.
And get back to that essential nature of who we all are.
Yes.
Our authentic self. Okay, so can you take us through the process of NeuroTrauma Healing process, NTHP, and then also I'd love to hear about the soul recognition process, SRC.
Sure. So they are basically the same process. I didn't think we could take somebody from dealing with a deep-seated trauma to what I'll call spiritual liberation in one book. So it got, cut into 2 books. And the next book, which is the Soul Recognition, it's the Unleash Your Genius, comes out in 2021. So we'll talk about that too, because they are the same process that just continues. So with the NeuroTrauma Healing process, it is a left-right brain process, and we work with people one-on-one. I also have webinars coming up and so on. You can go on our website and see what's up, and you can either do a webinar or work with us one-on-one, listen to some talks or read the book, whatever works.
By the way, why don't we just plug it right here? We'll plug it in at the end. What is your website?
DaneStevensOnline.com. That's DANE, Stevens with a V, online.com. And the website for the NeuroTrauma Healing process is anextraordinarylife.ca, anextraordinarylife.ca. And there you can see about all the different packages and processes to do one-on-one work there too. And you can purchase a book off either one of those sites too. So those sites
great.
are available anytime. And
so you were talking about the process.
Yeah.
When you're working
the NeuroTrauma Healing process is a left-right brain process that gives you direct access to your subconscious mind in a safe and gentle manner. And it's not a quick fix. I want to be clear about that. It's a relationship. And a relationship takes time and effort. But it's certain if you do this work, you can bring it to full resolution. And in the first session, what we want people to make that connection and to know that it's real. And once you make that connection, it's kind of a bit of an awakening to realize, yes, you have life inside of you, and yes, you can connect to that in an intimate way. So, and we help to guide people through that. The Reclaim Your Power to Create Your Best Life book, it shows the whole process. It takes us through the whole process. And I'll be honest, it was a bit of a challenge to put that book out, because I don't want people taking themselves to a place where they're, not comfortable or can't handle it. I want to make sure that they get the results that they want too. So with this process, to put it out there, I couldn't just keep it a secret. So eventually I had to just say, okay, I'm going to put it out there. But if anybody's dealing with a deep-seated trauma, please contact us first, and we will help you. And most people are going to need help in the start anyway. But it's a safe and gentle process because you get the answers from within you, and you're in charge. We follow the process, let the process guide us. So it's not something that we're trying to blow through, or you don't have to do anything you're not comfortable with doing. It will go at your pace because it is you dealing with you. Could it be any other way?
Okay, so you're saying that this is like individual work. You get the book, you take yourself through this process. If you need additional, let's say a tutor or something, or the facilitator, then reach out to you guys to help you get through the process.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing, because I think it's going to be so helpful for people, and it's so accessible because so many people, especially now, don't have extra money to go to their weekly sessions. So the thought of, all I do is buy a book and I can take myself through this process sounds amazing.
Well, like I say, most people are going to need some help in the start. We don't keep our clients for long. But the book is there, the process is there, and it shows it in its entirety. Yeah.
So about how many sessions do people need to do?
So we tend to book sessions of 12. And within 12 sessions, and we can't say because every person is different, and it depends on the person, the situation, the intensity, and the duration of your issue you're dealing with, and so on. So it's different for every person. But from 12 to 24, you're pretty much assured you can take it over. Within 12 sessions, you'll have a full understanding of the work and be able to take it over on your own if you'd like to. We prefer to have people be brought to the place of having traction. And I think I said traction means having a consistently healthy and positive relationship with that life inside of you, and then you can take it over. So, and we work with people, because we're dealing with the subconscious mind, a minimum of 2 to 3 times a week. I used to work with people once a week, and it's like pulling teeth. you have to try and convince that, take the control from that left brain and, reconvince that part every time. So 2 to 3 times a week, we get that required momentum, and you get the knowledge, the evidence, and it's just so much easier to continue on, and you get results so much faster. So
It's more solid.
Definitely. Yeah.
And how long is each session?
60 to 90 minutes. First one is 2 hours, just up to 2 hours, just to make that connection. And because we have to do the snapshot and the compassion letter and go through the process to start the process. But it's the most profound work you will probably do. And I know I'm biased, but it all comes from the person. So it's wild, because there's 2 prerequisites. One is you be open-minded, because it's abstract work and that left brain wants to get in there and take over. And the second one is you have to be open to the possibility that you're completely responsible for your life, because it will show you how you've been creating your life and what's going on inside of you. So, yeah.
And so about how much does this cost? And you do this over Zoom, I'm assuming, right now?
Yeah, we've been doing it. We have clients from all over the world. And so we've been doing it by Zoom for years now. And now it's only by Zoom. We don't have an office anymore, of course. So and we do it by Zoom. And it's $2,300 for 12 sessions. And like I say, you'll make a connection right away. As far as healing, we can't, say when a person's fully healed and when they are not. But, when you do this process, you are literally unwinding the tapes inside of you. So it works. I don't know what else to say. And I can talk till I'm blue in the face. And I used to try and convince people. I don't do that anymore.
That's good.
It's, once you experience it, then you'll know. And it doesn't matter, what I say. And I'm not going to try to talk anybody into it. But this is experiential. And when you experience it, you will know. So I'll leave it at that.
And I was about to say that you are the best person to sell it, let's say, or to talk about it, or to inspire people, not sell, because you are living proof. You've done it yourself.
Yeah.
So it makes it even more genuine and authentic. Yeah. And you've
I feel, am I back?
Yeah, you're back. You're here.
There we go. We're back. Yeah, I feel very fortunate. I love my life. I'm with the story of my getting back together with a girl I went on with in high school, and how we got together after I, did my work through this process, and she's now a senior facilitator. And it's really a wonderful, meaningful relationship where we bring out the best in each other. And it's just a real deep love there. And it's not hard. So it's, we both have done our inner work and continue to connect within, which takes the ego out of the way, which makes life a whole lot easier. And so I feel very fortunate and I want to share it with people. Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys have a conscious relationship.
Definitely. It's based on growth and feel very fortunate. Yes.
I'm actually working on a project where I'm interviewing couples, and I've interviewed a bunch of couples on the show as well. So we can talk about that another time, where I take you through a bunch of questions, and it's very inspirational to people so they can see what a real, authentic, romantic relationship looks like.
Nice.
Maybe we'll do that sometime.
I'd love to. Yeah. Love to be on it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So now can you talk a little bit about the soul recognition process?
So as I talked about with the NTHP, when you do that healing, you're actually able to unfreeze those tapes and give that part of yourself what it needs or is not getting. And the tape stops occurring. And therefore, if it's not looping in your nervous system, there's nothing to be triggered. And therefore, the pattern in your life, the negative pattern, unwanted behavior, addiction, simply ceases to outpicture itself. And that's where the space is created. And when that space opens up, that higher consciousness comes through. And that's kind of the start of the soul recognition process. We use 4 archetypes, and this just poured through me too. And I mean, it's not, none of this is new. It's time, I suppose. So the 4 archetypes that we deal with are the lover, the warrior, the magician, and the sovereign. And those are kind of the 4 pillars that make us up. And so when you get into this work, the soul recognition process allows you to feed each part of each aspect of your being. The lover aspect that needs beauty, that needs that sensuality, that touch, that needs nature. The warrior that needs that exercise, that needs, and I use an example of the warrior as working out, but it could be somebody like an accountant. He just has to get down and get her done kind of thing. So we all have that warrior that needs exercising as well. You have your magician, which is curiosity, playfulness, the manifestation. And that part is sometimes it can be quite elusive because when we grow up, we don't let ourselves play. So it's allowing ourselves that part of ourselves, feeding that part of ourselves too, so we can have that playfulness and that magic in our life. That is our nature, once again. So, and then the sovereign, which is leadership, and it's not leadership with an iron sword. I would use meditation as a good example of leadership there, because it's wisdom, it's wise, and it's inclusive of all of your archetypes and accepting. So when we are able to feed each part of our being in that way, that's where we get into a state of flow or effortless effort. And it's from the inside out. And life is an inside job. So that's where the soul recognition process takes us to a whole new level of being in the world, being who we really are. And with that, it's not about a technique and acting a certain way or trying to be somebody or something. It's letting yourself be who you are.
Yes, be. I love that you're encouraging people and reminding people that it doesn't matter how old you are, but you're never too old to play, to create. Because I feel like so many people get older and they think life just kind of needs to be boring. I don't know, just the same thing over and over, and survival mode, not thriving mode. And so I love that part of the work that you're doing is, because I know I do this, because I try to help people feel alive no matter how old they are. Yeah. So it sounds like that's what you're doing also. Yeah. And I love how I love the names of your archetypes, because they're very, I don't know, there's a lot of feeling within them. Right. Just get a sense of that you get a feeling about each one. They're beautiful.
And I use the word profound probably too much, but it's just the word that seems to fit so often here. But when you connect with each one of these archetypes within you, you will know them because they're you. And it's not making up some idea of a warrior or something. It's letting that part of you out and learning about your warrior, learning about your lover. And that's, the first thing to feeding ourselves, to loving ourselves, which is what my job is, to help people to love themselves ultimately, is to find out about yourself and find out what it is that you need. And when you can feed yourself, and the next step to that is we become our source. And unless we can give it to ourselves within, we can't get it out there. If we can't love ourselves, we can't get it out there. We don't respect ourselves, we can't get respect out there. If we don't have respect or have patience with ourselves, then we can expect to not have patience given to us. So it shows us how we're working once again.
It all starts with unconditionally loving ourselves.
Yeah.
And doing that work to get there.
Yeah.
I always say to forgive yourself and everyone and anything in your life, and to know that everyone has always been doing the best that they can.
As hard as that is to believe.
Yes, but people have limitations. We don't judge them.
Yeah.
They're not going to change, and us as well. We are who we are.
When we have anger or whatever come out, understand that if there's nothing in there, there'll be nothing to come out. So that anger, the judgment, it's ours. That responsibility again, it's ours. So, and there you need to go inside and see where you're angry at yourself, or where you're angry, or where you're judging yourself, or what have you. Mm-hmm. Bring that to resolution.
We are so aligned. And what I love about anger, which sounds funny, because I'm a very, very kind person. I'll just say that, like I own it. When I learned about anger in my adulthood, really what it was, and I actually got in touch with my anger, I was like, oh my God, I have anger? Like, I'm this perfect, like, happy girl, But eventually I matured and I learned about anger. So behind anger is pain, and behind pain is sadness. And so to help people get past, people come in to my office, or now to my computer, my Zoom session, and they're angry, and to break down those walls and to get them past that anger to the pain, to the sadness. Oh, it's so beautiful. It's so life enriching.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you do that in your way also.
Now you see anger and you go, oh, okay, that's good.
Wow, bring it out.
But in that, if we can, and this is what I like to offer, is give people you have to express the anger. You can't just push it down. So to express that anger in a way that is healthy, so it doesn't destroy your relationships, doesn't destroy your career, doesn't destroy your family, and so on, you can express it in a healthy way that allows you to grow from it and get to those lower layers. Yeah.
Also about owning and reflection, everything. I help my clients, I'm sure you do too, to see that they can shift it. Instead of being angry at somebody, let's just shift it around and own it. Okay, maybe I'm really mad at myself, and then to heal that.
Yeah.
All this fun work. And it's fun. Like, I try to help people, like, this is fun. It's a gift to yourself. Working on yourself, finding out who your authentic self is a gift. And we all deserve love and to be happy.
Well, I honestly, I wouldn't wish what happened to be my worst enemy. But where I am now, it's just phenomenal. So
it happened for you, not to you.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, I'm going to give some away here now, Jamie. The start of the second book, Unleash Your Genius, starts off like this: and now the truth. Because it took me a long time to forgive that therapist who tried to force a trauma out of me. But I know that I asked for it. Unwittingly, unknowingly.
Yes.
But I asked for it. I won't give anything else away. But I look back and go,
she's a guardian angel.
Yeah. And I mean, I went through what appeared to be hell, and I was very angry at her for a long time. She was doing her job. It was perfect. And, but anyway, that's just what you're talking about. Life working perfectly as it always does.
Yeah, so we just need to trust that. Yeah. Okay, so anything else before we end up? And I do want you to plug away again, but anything else you feel like you want to add in?
Just, I guess this work can seem very ethereal. And when you do it, it's very practical and obvious. So, like I said, there's only two prerequisites to the work, and that's being open-minded and just, sustaining or releasing all judgment and just letting what wants to come out. And you will see why you're getting what you're getting in your life and why you're not getting what you say you want, and be able to re-choose. So I want to say thank you for having me on. I love what you do. Love being here speaking with you. And if I can help anybody, any of your peeps, I'd love to help you out. Contact us. Okay, so and thank you so much. And I love this work that you do as well. And I'm so happy you did this show. What is your website again? You mentioned two websites before. Yeah. So DaneStevensOnline.com, DaneStevens online.com. And there you can buy the book, and I have some coaching. I don't do as much one-on-one now. You can request it there and get more information. And the NTHP website is anextraordinarylife.ca. And there you can see the sessions we do, the different groups of sessions that we do, and learn more about the process. And you can buy a book there too if you want. So get the book. If I can be of any service, if we can help you out at all, let us know. Fantastic. And there is online. Sorry, check the events on both the websites for events coming up. So for webinars, things like that. Yeah. Terrific. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Love Talk Live, and we'll be back next week. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. Mwah. Thank you.
You're listening to Love Talk Live with the relationship expert, Jaime Bronstein, only on LA Talk Radio.